welcome to my channel. I'm Laura, and if you're looking for inspiration to make some fun, whimsical wire crafts, you have come to the right place. Now my goal here is to inspire you, so I suggest you add your own special flares and touches to the projects that I share with you. And don't forget to give me the thumbs up, leave me your comments, I love your feedback, and of course hit that subscribe button. And when you click the notification bell, it lets you know when I have new content to share with you, and so that's always a good idea as well. All right, now please remember, many of the designs I show you here are original, so if you share it other places, like your social media, be sure to give me a shout out and add hashtag #WeMetWirework to your posts. All right, so let's get started as I show you how to make one of these really wonderful skull pendants. And as you can see, there's a variety of ways that these can be made, and once again, I encourage you to make them your own. All right, let's get started. So the materials we need to make our really sweet caged skull pendants, and boy, I just love these. They're just so much fun. This one is a 24 gauge aluminum wire, and so it's super soft. And these are meant to be more on the costume jewelry side of things. So if you were making these as permanent pieces of jewelry, so in other words stuff that you would wear all of the time, I would go with a different wire, because the aluminum, as I said, is super soft, and really the gauge doesn't matter as long as it fits through the hole of your beads, right? So just keep that in mind. Always test your wire on your beads first. And then we have a couple pair of jewelry pliers, and these ones have no teeth on them, so they are non-scarring. They still can leave marks in your wire. However, for a costume jewelry, it's not really a big deal, but you certainly want to be careful if you're moving into more expensive wires. And then here we have a nice little pair of flush cutters. All right, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to measure out our lengths of wire. And I used 4 lengths of 6-inch wire for this one, for this cage. But I think we're going to go with 3. Just makes it less bulky. Give them a snip. So we're going to measure off 3 of those. And they don't have to be exact, because we'll do some trimming at the end of the project anyway, because the wires do tend to move around anyway. All right, so then we have those, and then we're going to do a 1/8 inch. Piece as well, and this we'll be using to bind our wires top and bottom, as well as thread our skulls with those. So to start, get rid of that too, just take your 3 wires and just gently fold them in half. See if you can find, see, I had a wire slip here. I want to keep them somewhat even on end, so that's pretty good if you're looking at that. Okay, and then we just want to squeeze it lightly, squeeze until you have that U shape in there. And here we have some wires that have crossed over. I'm going to readjust those a bit so that they're parallel to one another. Okay, so we have that lovely U shape there. All right, so now we're taking our 8-inch piece and we're just popping it in where we bent that, and we're just going to give this a couple of wraps here. It can be a little piddly, a little finicky. It slides around a little bit, and so just go slow, be patient. Separating those wires, and this is going to bind the whole thing together. And then I'm going to do a third wrap here. Okay, now I'm going to take that tail and I'm going to tuck it in around as well. Hard time seeing that. There we go. Okay, and then just snip it off now that we know it's tucked up in there. And as with all of the projects, you want to run your finger along the wire and just make sure that there's no pokey ends. All right, easy peasy, pretty straightforward. Okay, so now we're taking our wires on one side and we're trying to keep them parallel to one another, so side by side, so that they're not overlapping. And then we're just going to give it a slight curl like this, making sure we have that lead wire so that it's not captured in those. And then same thing, we just give it a slight bend like so. And this is a little moving around a little bit, so you do want to hang on to it. All right, so now we're just going to start to string our skulls on there. And the hole must go from the top to the bottom on these. There's some that you get where the hole runs through the side of the skull, and that's just not going to serve our purpose here with this. So just to be aware when you're looking at materials. So then I'm going to just take those wires on both sides, still trying to keep them somewhat parallel to one another. And I like for the skulls to face different directions, if at all possible. Adds interest to our piece. So we've got those 3 wires here. And those 3 wires there. Spreading them out, and we'll continue to adjust these once the project is finished. Okay, now we're figuring out where our wire is that we wrapped around the bottom and then strung our skulls through. Okay, now we're holding on firmly and we're just going to take and wrap this. Let's go 3 times, I guess. And now you can see that there ended up being a considerably length difference in these here, and so that would be a result of how I curved the wire around the beads, and that's why we leave a little bit of extra on our wires at the onset. And now you can see all I'm doing is I'm just playing with those wires. Right, moving them around, pulling them around the skulls. All right, and see, so this guy ended up facing the same direction as his friend on the bottom there, so I just gave him a little bit of a turn, a little bit of a twist. Good. Okay, so this is kind of giving it more or less the final shape before we finish tying this off here. Okay, so I'm going to take and I'm going to give it a couple more twists. And then we're going to just bend these wires out to hold it in place. So in other words, that will keep these wires from stretching or moving any further. All right, so yep, quite a size difference here. So then what we're going to do, actually first and foremost, I'm going to take the shortest one, and I am going to just take my my barrel nose pliers, round nose pliers, and just give it a twist. So now I've created that bail with the shortest piece. Okay, so now I want to trim these to approximately the same length, and just eyeball this, you guys. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. Excuse me. And then we're just going to take our round nose pliers and we're going to just create curls with those. Okay, moving them around, make sure we have room for the other ones. And just adjust them till you like the placement and the shape. Didn't quite curl the way I would like it to have. There we go. Got that end tucked in there. All right. Very nice. Oh, this is so sweet. These are, I just love how cute they are. Muck around with your cage. I'm going to straighten it out, pull it away from the skulls a bit. So there's a little bit of movement in those. And there you go. Isn't that cute? Oh, I just love these. I think they're wonderful. And then this one was done in a antiqued copper here, and it's a little bit larger, a few more wires used on that one. And then this one here is done with the silver and some carnelian beads in between. Now these ones are so much larger, I could have put the beads in between them, but then we would have ended up with a substantial piece, probably about this big. So it's entirely up to you. There are variables here. So our sweet little skull pendants. So thank you so much for popping by and joining me as I show you how to make one of these really great little skull pendants. I really appreciate you being here. So don't forget to subscribe, comment, give me the thumbs up, and hit that notification bell. So for now, thanks again for being here. I'm Laura, and I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you soon.